We tried to do this the other day,
Yes.
and what happened?
State troopers.
You got to hold your mic up a little bit.
State troopers. I didn't know they flagged my plates because they were like not even matching the car. So it's like I buy disposables, and next thing you know, they pulled me over. They said you owe a lot of money on the plates. That's why I just came up, and like cornered and just little by little slooped me over on the bridge, and I was like, screwed. I was like,
New York is a tough town. I remember I had a friend, I lived on 3rd and D, and I had a friend come visit me. He had a car, and he just got tickets everywhere he turned. But he would be parked outside. So, like, okay, you have to get up at 5 in the morning and move it because they ticket you at 6. So he's up at 5 in the morning. He doesn't want to be up at 5 in the morning. And he's already got a ticket. And he goes, it's not, he runs down and gets the cops. It's not 6 o'clock yet. And he goes, yeah, I can't unwrite a ticket, man. And he just like, get me the fuck out of this town, man. Anyway, I'm sorry. Who the fuck are you?
yeah, Duster.
Duster, you're serious, right? You're really him. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we're so honored to have you. And yes, this is. I know you're gonna have some stories.
No,
Oh, you're not gonna do nothing. No, the great thing about like
photos. I have a story for you.
doing the kind of art we do, it's like you can't go do this stuff and not have stuff happen.
No,
Yeah.
it's like constantly. It's
Right. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, we had people like shoot through our billboards with shotguns. We'd try to glue one up and it'd freeze and fall off. Or I mean, it was always something. It was never just like a real job.
It's always changing too. It's something different, different place. Like now, like all going to here, like during the daytime, it's totally different because I'm used to going below here at night. So it's like another world down there. Below all of Bowery Street, we're finding all the little nooks and crannies, and I'm just painting away down there.
Wow.
Just like nobody's down there, so it's like hell.
But this city must seem very different to you.
Yeah, it's really even this neighborhood from like years me grew up around here. I mean, up in the Bronx, but I was always down and around because we had to get paint, so we went to all these stores. Neighborhoods change. It's weird. It's even like late at night. We used to go like Henry Chalfant's studio was on Grand. Going to the west side from there, it was dead. There was nothing down here. It was all factories. This is New York City where they built things and made things like furniture. I got furniture in my house that like really strong, lasting forever, and I turn it over and it's made in New York. I'm like, this is like all these factories are building stuff.
Huh.
Everybody from here went to Brooklyn and the Bronx. They traveled and people work down here.
Well, let's just for a second circle back to Henry. And if anybody doesn't know, he was actually a sculptor, and he was a bit of a minimalist. I remember his art, and I remember it was very empathetical to, like, yeah. But he was like a real Soho artist. He fit right in there, but then he got super into the graffiti thing. And I used to go over there, and there was all like the graffiti guys, and that was their hangout. And I think we're at the time to be happy, and I think he's kind of creating that sort of thing here, where you can just come hang out and have wine, and it's free, and
still here.
it's yeah, but yeah, there's a lot of stuff's happening in New York City right now. You can feel like a new vibe, but yeah, sorry.
Before
So
COVID, I felt like it was weird. It was like reminded me of the Lord of the Flies. You remember? It was just all kids running.
yeah,
And that's what it felt like when I was down here. I was like having a free for all. We were doing every day, and the cops just didn't care. It was like,
and why do you think they didn't care?
I think because the prosecutors and everybody else figured they didn't care. So why are we gonna book this guy tonight when he's just gonna be out by tomorrow morning? So I think that's what it was.
Yeah, maybe they didn't want to spread COVID through the court system, or
It's a tight squeeze down in between.
So how did that time feel? Like compare that time to the 70s.
It was coming close to it.
Yeah.
Because like the chaos and the anarchy, the anti-socialist.
Well, how old were you when you painted your first train?
First train, I was like 16, 14, around then, yeah. 12 was the first time I walked into the yard just to check it out. Still got arrested. Well, they gave me a ticket, for trespassing.
Uh-huh.
Got busted down there. And then after that, I just took off. It was just like...
So what was a ticket back then?
Trespassing?
Like $25 to $200 or...
Oh. They gave me like a JD card. But instead of a JD, it was a YO, youthful offender. So it was just like that.
A physical card.
Yeah, like a physical card on me.
And do you have to carry it around with you?
No, not me. Like that.
Oh.
Maybe to file it and just say,
wow,
get arrested again, go to this and that.
Now, did you ever meet like somebody that was a cop or had been a cop that kind of talked to you about who you are and what you do and um like one time I was signing in some Comic-Con thing out in San Diego, and then the guy come up, yeah, my brother's a cop in New York City, and that's how I know who you are, and I'm like, why the fuck did he never arrest me? And he goes, they thought you were hilarious. And if somebody if the chief would have said arrested me, they would have arrested you. But they had pictures of your billboards on the over his desk. So I just wonder if you ever met a cop that was actually like a fan.
Uh, some you could tell, like he can ski. Like I see them on train stations, and like sometimes I just come up with like bags of paint just came from Manhattan, and they'll just like stop me and just say, "We're taking your caps out of you, so you go home tonight. I know you got more, but it's like it's all right. It was up because as long as we're doing whole cars, not doing monuments and like that, pay
Right.
off for certain things. It was just like cool with it. They knew who you were. But if you're in the train yards, and they gave me chase a couple of times where it's like they were on me. I was going under the trains. They were under the trains. They just kept following me. So it was no joke. They were just like, well, when we see you in the yard, ding, ding, it's on. And it's like, okay, it's like
Wow.
off the yard, cool, we're cool. It's like, we like your stuff, but it's
But
just,
it's almost like you were in a playground with them and they were the bullies, or I don't know. But it seems like they probably enjoyed it in a weird way
yes.
because I know you're not armed. I know you're an artist. I know that if I chase you, it's going to be fun because you're not going to shoot at me or anything. And I, probably respect your work. And it seemed like it would be kind of
Just a
a
chase.
thrill for them, because they want stuff to happen. You don't become a cop just to have nothing happen.
No, like
They like a
you
little
swear
adventure.
down. It's like
Yeah.
I even got chased by them right under here. It's like they came in on the flatbeds, the yellow work trains that they have, like the flatbeds. This is like years ago. They used to do this in the tunnels. I was like never expecting it now. I'm with a friend from Richmond, Virginia. They're gonna open up a graffiti museum out there, and his mom. So come on down and film you down there. I got a real sprayer for the house, and I'm gonna spray like big, huge, fat side, like fat cap tags on the tunnels, and they were just gonna film me going down it. So yeah, my using like the extension cords, like plugging into their power and everything. I got little extensions for the lights to still stay on. And it's a courtyard kind of pit thing. You go down the stairs, and then like it's kind of a big space, and two tracks are entering. It's like the M line and the D, and I'm sitting there. I said, "Come on back, the train's coming." So the train would come, but I hear like a motor, and it's like instead of the LED lights really bright, I could see off the reflection of the tunnel walls it's kind of yellowish. So I'm saying, oh shit, work train. But I'm thinking, no way, Vandal Squad. I'm thinking workers. I've seen brand new shovels down there and bags. So I'm like, they've been cleaning up down here. So maybe it's just a work train. A bunch of workers are going to come off. Cool, I could deal with them. Just walk away. Next thing you know, he's coming. I see the front end. I'm smoking a joint too. And I'm looking up, and it just came in front end. This cop is like he's a Viking on the front of the car, and he's looking side by side because there's another courtyard. So he's looking down there, looking at. He looked and he took a double take real quick. He went, there they are. And like way he was on the front of the train. Like, stop the train, and he didn't realize. He almost flew off, but then he was out of the picture. I was like, bucket, grabbed everything. Let's go. We started crossing the tracks up on the other side. And you cross these tracks, you go up to the catwalk. Meanwhile, I hear them yelling, Duster, we got you cornered, and all this. I'm like, Duster? And how did they even know it was me? So we cross the tracks, we grab on the catwalk. I'm like, go up the catwalk, go up the catwalk. I'm following through, I just drop all this pink paint. So this is the only way they were going to climb up. Now they got to go through all this pink paint that was coming down. Like, oh, fuck. So I just grabbed the rest of the rudder and jumped up on the catwalk, followed my friends. I was like, go up the stairs. There's emergency exit about 20 feet. They got 20 feet, boom, emergency exit. Make a right, go up it. Dude, keep going, keep going. It's a big, long staircase to Stanton Ave and Stanton Street. So they're running up there. They hit it. And I hear them cops still coming. They're like yelling on the microphone, yo, he's coming up to emergency exit. And I was like, oh, fuck, they're going to have us cornered. So I'm rushing up the thing, and I can hear my friend struggling with the thing. It won't open. I'm like, push it. I get out of the way. They cleared. I just went, bam. I ran up these stairs. I just like crashed into it, and it flipped up. And then next thing you know, there's like high heels and feet dangling. I'm like, holy shit, what the fuck? I squeezed through. This girl's like, what happened? All drunk because there's a club right there. So I'm looking at him like, get up now. And she was like, all right, whatever. They got all friends were like behind her and they were looking. They're like, what is this? The bar like bouncer was looking because there's a club right there. He looked. He always see me in and out of that place. So he just looked and he was like, fuck it. He was looking at the IDs and he didn't even care. And it just like everybody jumped out, boom. And I just slammed it, shut, boom. And it's really loud. I was gonna hit. I was like, those cops downstairs. I gotta deal with this. And I was like, let's run. We ran through the crowd, went up Christie Street, and never looked back. I was like, damn. I was like, fuck.
Once they chase you, you got to get away because they get fucking pissed.
Yeah, once they start chasing, I mean, those
They get the adrenaline, yeah,
my
and
hands are burning up. So
yeah.
I could just imagine them. But for some reason, when they jumped off the train, I was like, they should have been right behind me. But by the time the train stopped, and then them jumping down, yelling and getting all screaming, but they probably were scared as shit once they got out of the tracks. And I could just picture them stepping over little by little, like we were flying over them. They were just going, okay, they're real, come on, all right, we go over this one. Hey, stop! It's like, we're not stopping later.
Yeah, you should have yelled you were somebody else, right? That you didn't like. But you should have had the party girl sit on it. Here,
Like,
girl, you sit right here.
and running, all you seen was duster, duster, duster. No wonder why. I was like, oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, you think they figured it out?
Couple of Annas.
Huh. Yeah, I always kind of wondered, okay, so like I used to visit New York and that was part of what I would do is I would go sit on a bench and watch the trains go by. Actually, a lot of kids would come up to me and go, "That's my train." So I was never sure if like, are you for real or are you just like taking credit because I look interested or yeah, yeah, yeah. But I was thinking, like, okay, if I'm the mayor of this city and you know, outside of the Empire State Building and the Statue of Liberty, the one of the most important things that people want to come see is the trains. And we're arresting these kids for doing the trains. It's like I think I would have took it a different directions. I would have give me a picture of you. We're going to post it like on one of those bills like the Keith Haring drew on, and we're going to say this is Duster and this is some of his work, and you may get to see one come by. And I would have just legalized it. But then again, like Crash and Dave said, well then fucking we wouldn't do it. It wouldn't be fine anymore if you legalized it.
That's
Yeah. Well, how would you have taken it if they went another direction with it and made it like a tourist attraction?
we almost did. We had a meeting. If you've seen Star Wars, where they had the interview with the president, Richard Radner, at the time of MTA. When we went down there, we had like, it was weird. They had this like big long table. I'm sitting at the head of the table. Henry Chalfant was telling me, that's not for you. That's for the president. I was like, and you're like, no, no, I'm cool with that. Let him sit there. We'll do
Wow.
the interview like this. And he was cool. He was totally like, what do you think we should do? And it was like the proposal was 10 cars. And let's see what the public decides. And if they decide let's continue, we'll continue on. So
Wow.
everybody's like, well, then who's going to be the 10? I'm thinking just the best. Let's kill it. Let's kill it that they cannot say no. They're like, somebody's going, no, this one should be this. But I was just shut up. Let's do this correctly. Let's get Lee. We'll get all the good riders that are like on board and we'll do this really nice cars, 10 cars, where the public is going to say, wow, that's beautiful. I wish all the trains were like that. Then we go on. But I was like, Mayor Koch is not gonna cave in. They're gonna say if he cave into this, and when he becomes governor or president, what else will he cave into? That was like a conservative time.
Yeah, yeah. That was
So
Reagan, right?
yeah, so that proposal, I was like, I'm down for it. I'm here. Call me whenever you want, but I don't see this happening. And it's like, I think Henry even filmed the whole interview. I
Oh.
was at the head of the table. I was like,
So that's wild. It could have went a whole different direction.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like he said, like Days, and you said Crash, and we won't probably do it.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's no fun if it's like without permission. And even like just recently, I painted a train. I don't know if you guys follow me on Instagram. You seen it. It was like, it was cool, but then they're like, come on back next weekend. I was like, nah, I'm already like bored. It was like, it's cool, but it was legal. It's like,
Yeah.
we want to come in at night. We want all the like we want every obstacle
Well,
there
yeah,
is to make it hard
there,
and difficult,
yeah,
which was the challenge of it.
yeah.
What's even the rat in the paint? It was like when people buy paint or have a credit card and stolen whatever, it doesn't matter. It's still
Yeah.
we're caving into the system. I'd rather go in there and just bag it up and walk out. And it's just like I still do that. Get all
At some point you're an elder statesman. I mean, and I remember when the flip kind of happened because I remember the like Elizabeth Hess wrote an article called "Graffiti Art Rest in Peace" because they were, a lot of people were selling big canvases, and she was saying, "Oh well, the paint will fall off the canvases," which was not true, but
books sometimes.
sometimes it does, yeah.
Yeah, people were
But
using different paint
it felt like
books.
that was like then there was kind of a lull, and like everybody wasn't selling so much anymore. And I know that Ventura was doing bicycle messaging, and Day said he got a job in a bookstore, and everybody kind of had to go back and get a job after that, right? And then
I seen that
the
come.
next generation came up and then thought these guys are the fucking legends. What the fuck? And then I feel like they kind of pushed the whole thing back up again.
Yeah, with the Banksy thing and
Yeah, all the young guys, and then they worshipped you guys, and then they're taking over, and but that helped,
it
right?
helped. I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
look at this. So I'm like, well, then I could turn around and say, well, what the fuck you think mine's? I'm gonna let them say all they want. It's gonna be worth 100,000, 200,000. We should
Uh
be up there in the millions. And Dolores Newman had taught me that. That was my agent from years ago. She worked with Keith Haring. She was Michelle Boscott before anybody even heard of her.
huh.
And she was explaining it to me about linen and canvases and about the material because people like after they're doing this stuff on cotton, she's like, I can't sell it. Cotton
Yeah, but cotton will last 5,000 years too if you take care of it.
people are going to take care of it. It's the artist that got to do that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's up to them. So they want it on linen. And in linens, I love it. You go punch a hole in it, you can't. Cotton, years from now, you go punch that, you're punching a hole through it.
Yeah.
I want my stuff to last long. I kept explaining this to Scene, and he was like, it just sells, it just sells. No, you're supposed to know what you're worth per inch and then work from there, not look at somebody and go, well, he's got money for a stupid little painting and just make up a price right there on the spot. You're going up and down. That's another reason why a lot of people were just staying away from the whole graffiti scene because a lot of them weren't taking it serious because they didn't even know what their work per square inch. And then it's on cotton anyway. So they figured, just let's stay away from them. So Dolores Newman got it. She just trained me and just says, here's a roll of linen. Start doing them on linens. And then she was getting customers. I started getting people. And then since she was Jewish, a lot of people in her family were dying like 1 month after another when it was prime time for selling. And I needed the money. And I was just like, what am I going to do? I already signed a contract with her. I didn't want to break it. So I said, you know what? This thing, we're still young. I'm only 25. I was like, I'm going to California. I'll see you later. I could do tattoos out there. And that's what I did. I went to California. I was doing tattoos and a little artwork out there. But she said, you'll never really sell paintings out there because there's no true art collectors. It's just people just want cheap stuff from Venice Beach on the canvas.
Out there, yeah, yeah.
So basically, I got that. And I was doing certain gigs, skateboard gigs here and there with the art. But basically, I was just balling. I was doing my pieces. I was doing freight trains, and that was cool for me. I was just like, and tattooing. Which tattooing to me was clean, and it paid. It was nice sitting there all day long, just tattooing and air conditioning, and just didn't have to worry about paint and dirt. Or just peel off the gloves. I'm done. Wash my hands. It wasn't like sticky.
Yeah, and they're not going to throw away their tattoos.
No.
Yeah, they got to. Well, then also, if somebody gets a tattoo, like if somebody buys a painting, they may just think it's going to go up in value, and they just make it as an investment. But if somebody gets a tattoo, they like it. There's no question about that. Yeah, that's an interesting kind of thing, and it's also interesting being that up close and personal with people because that is a very personal thing to do to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's glad because my portfolio would sell itself. I would just say, look at my portfolio. I take my stuff serious. Anything you see on the wall, it's mostly conceptive. It's like, people, whatever it is in their head, you got to take that concept. You got to redraw it or something, or they want to flash off the wall. And I could say, look, I could rearrange that so that way it's yours personally. I'll draw them up real quick, or like a little sketch and change it up. And they're like, I love it. Yes, yes. And go form it with your arm, and I can do like that.
Yeah, I never thought about it until they came up with that tattoo show, and I realized how personal that is. People are very serious about getting a tattoo. There's a real reason they're getting a tattoo. It means a lot to them, and you're almost like their psychiatrist, right? I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes it is.
That's interesting.
I got customers that I'm doing back pieces on every week. You know, they come in the store, the wife is there, and everybody, oh, come to my house. And next thing you know, on La Mirada, and we're having barbecues, and
Mm.
they start getting their friends, and they're coming in and getting pieces every week. So it's just like it's
That's
cool.
a great, huh?
They start knowing all the personal problems, and oh, my son will kill him. Like, oh, calm down. It's smoke a joint or chill. What does he do now? It's just like.
Yeah, that stuff like that. It depends on how big of an empath you are. If you're too much of an empath, it'll destroy you because you absorb their problems, and
Yeah.
you just have to kind of find a middle ground on that, right?
You
Yeah.
care of, and it's like, oh shit, that's
Huh.
love. Well, help them get through their shit, and you take care of it from there. It's like,
Yeah,
give you a little advice, and that's it.
that's
So,
fun, huh? So, what's next?
what's that? I'm still doing
Yeah.
painting.
So whatever we do, the people see it in a year, and then it'll be like you already did it. So that's always a weird question to ask when something's out there for a long time. I'll ask you, like, it's a little odd, but you've dealt with the art world. Most people have no idea what the art world is. Um, Art world's a fucking strange place.
Like I said,
Right.
what's
So
material?
what's your opinion about what is the art world? Like, if somebody doesn't know what that is,
Well, it's
it's
really
not selling stuff at the mall. It's a real thing, you know?
the real like financial saying it's going to go up in value.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah,
think
that's
everybody
no one knows about.
expects
I didn't even know about
but
until I
everybody
got
wants
to
their
know.
painting to go up in value. So what gives it value in the art world?
Knowing. I didn't know jack about it until Dolores Newman sat me
Right.
down for the first 8 hours. I met her and I unrolled a bunch of paintings and artwork, and she was going through all my paintings, and like there's paintings like Renaissance paintings
Yeah.
on the side, portraits on the side, graffiti. She'd stop and she'd stare and go through my another one, portraits for gone, whatever. She was doing the graffiti. Stop, and she's like, "Look, what do you want to be? You want to be in the fine arts? You want to be a commercial artist? Go out just do portraits or the Renaissance." So this is how it works. You're a graffiti artist. You're not a Renaissance artist. That movement's gone. This is the movement now is graffiti. Years from now, there won't be that doors open. They can say they were influenced by graffiti, but you are the center of this movement is called graffiti. You are in it. You're not gonna claim cubisms or that's already done. Photorealism, it's already done. Because this is the next thing. Do you understand? I was like, yes. And then she started explaining about the square inch thing. And when she broke it down, explained to me all of that, by the end of the day, all the school teachers, all the teachers I had in art and everything couldn't teach me what she was teaching me by just verbally explaining to me exactly what was going on. And she can't draw a stick figure to save her life.
Right.
And here's just verbally explained to me. I learned everything that all my teachers could not explain. How it goes up, all this. People say she would explain, no, the material is important. This is what you got to do. And then have the COAs, have it signed. They have to send it back to you to put the new name on it, like a car registration. And you get your 10%.
Yeah.
So that's why Dave Hockney, he ain't got to do shit. He's getting 10% from everything it resells. You want it to go up in value. You also want it to resell where the 10% goes back to you. So eventually they start realizing you take it serious. You have a COA, you're signing their name on it, like a car registration. You want to get it redone if you sell it. Next person, you two got to figure it out. But I get my 10% before you get to new COA.
Hmm.
And that way they know it's going up in value.
Yeah.
What it costs now, what you paid for it. And then I want to know because I have to know what I'm at per square inch. That's why it's good, like to throw. She threw my paintings up in the auction house, Christie's. Christie, one of the auction houses. Book. Dolores Newman, she was the curator of the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So they took the painting. Keith Haring was selling a painting too. That red metal was like, turn around, it's like, his didn't sell. It was going for 20,000. Mine was going for 1,600. Went above that for like 1,800 and sold. I was like, cool with it. oh, he was like, "I want to trade paintings." I was like, "Not really. I need cash, you know.
Yeah,
Mine ain't gonna sell." And I always thought mine was a value. I mean, compare mine. I mean, if you see that bag of pictures that I got right there, you're gonna be like, damn, you
yeah,
put it some work and illegal work. Not that billboard stuff with
yeah.
chalk. And what are you gonna do? Get a fine if you do
Yeah, I
that?
always wondered what people thought about him because people are doing like top to bottoms and he's drawing with chalk.
I thought it was
Yeah,
really, it's cute.
yeah, yeah,
It's like, but like he didn't do the shit we did
yeah,
jumping
yeah.
the train yards late at night. And he was on the station.
Yeah, I
Oh
know.
yeah, anybody could done that. It's like, dude, get down where it's like you're not supposed to be here. It's a blacked out billboard because the advertisement agency didn't pay or whatever it is, and they
Yeah, they
blacked
covered
it
him up.
out
Yeah, yeah,
till they
yeah,
figure out who's gonna get
yeah.
that next campaign.
Huh. Yeah, I always wondered
I love these
what the graph guys thought about him. But yeah,
lot
yeah.
of it.
But yeah, no. But I think just to go over quickly, and then we'll wrap it up. But in the art world, you have to be part of a movement. You're a part of a movement. You have to be a part of history. You're part of history, and you also have to have a story. And I think we kind of begin this with one story of probably a million. We could be here all night. But but that's it
We're gonna
because
take you down some places.
yeah, no, but it's like Jackson. They wanted Jackson Pollock when he's splashing. They don't give a shit about like when he was painting the Indian stuff. My friend has a Roy Lichtenstein. It's a painting of an Indian, but it's before he did the dots, so nobody cares. Nobody wants it. But once he became a pop artist, you got to have something from that pop period, the other period, whatever he did before, or probably never did after. Doesn't matter. So only that matters because you were part of that movement. It has to be that. Can't be a Rembrandt portrait. But it's wild. But that's what the art world is. Yeah. Yeah.
I see people doing like
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
else.
Yeah.
And it's like it's cool. I
Yeah.
but you are an artist. You're displaying that, but then you gotta say you want to be in the fine arts or you want to be a commercial artist doing illustration,
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
But yeah, it's interesting. You have to, and the ones that really make it have a great story, like maybe they killed somebody or maybe they cut their ear off, but you got to have a story. You have to, you have to see that person when you see the art. It's a really wild thing to really be all the way in history. But yeah. Anyway, I don't think a lot of people know that much about the art world. It's kind of an elusive kind of thing. But anyway, well, I'm glad that that's part of your life, and I'm glad you get down in the real shit. You know. Yeah. 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 Oh, one more thing before we wrap up. The Anna, what's like you became friends with her, so you're kind of mentoring her now, or I don't understand.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same thing, like materials you put your artwork on, but she'll put it on like anything. She didn't know the difference. I was like, that's the difference between why there's no woman famous artist. I was like, because they didn't talk to him about the linens. It was just they wanted them out, of the whole art scene. It's like, so there's none really to say, hey, look at this linen from this artist. And now whatever she put it on, cotton,
Yeah.
we disintegrated after time.
Yeah.
That's what usually happens with, those paintings. And that's why I was like stressing with scene. He's putting his artwork on cotton. I was just like,
But he made like a deal to sell like a ton of paintings. So
basically that's all.
but I mean, you can do that too. You can say, I'm going to do this huge deal. I'm going to make a ton of money. He's buying a whole bunch of land. He's going to build his own museum there and his own thing. And, so, yeah.
Rich told me a whole story about that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Did you talk to him?
I talked to Scene when I was in Vegas. Yeah. Oh, does he? Then I don't know.
He spends the money, he blows it, and
Yeah, he buys those big crazy. He says that like when I buy a toy, he buys like a big statue or whatever. Yeah.
he's probably just standing next to it.
Yeah, is he? I don't know.
He's the type of guy. You shake your hands, count all your rings on your finger. There you go.
Oh,
dude, yeah, he's weird like that.
huh? But he was there at the beginning too, right? Yeah.
He put me in the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, people go, "Why is that, bro?" Like,
And then he got like
all his friends, his close friends,
yeah,
are now my friends, and they all understand why.
Oh.
It's like, dude, it completely sucked the life out of you. He's a narcissist.
Okay. Well,
That explains it all.
he's just a famous figure to us, so we don't really know that much about him. But yeah.
That's why a lot of times, like I went to Europe, and a lot of people are like, dude, we didn't really want to come out and talk to you because we don't like scene.
Like
That's a separate entity. We realized, my friend told me, come on down, Dustin's cool. He ain't like that. It's like, all right, cool, glad to like, You separated the
But I mean, I guess there was a
definitions and what I
it was a lot of beefs in that world, and it was probably really weird because you got famous very young. What was doing to get famous was illegal, so that's kind of a bind. Who else does that happen to? You know, Jesse James. I don't know. You know.
yeah, like I said, like when you say about cops, oh yeah, uncles that are cops, but they work the street, not the subway.
Yeah.
They come over and they're like, I'd see a bunch of cop cars in front of the house, and they're down at my grandmother's having lunch and shit, and cleaning out their guns, whatever, and looking at photographs. I'll be like going up the stairs, my uncle will be like, Nick, come over here. I was like, oh shit. And they're looking through and they're laughing. Oh, look at this one. Look at that. And they're like, holy shit. And they're like talking about it, like, when do you do this? And they're like, they were curious. I was like,
Huh.
this time. And now they know they're like, ain't gonna say nothing. They was just like laughing. They were like fucking transit cops, you know, like bagging on them. Like,
Wow.
they couldn't figure that shit out anyway. So they're like, wow. And this one cut out nice too. So they're
Wow.
like fans too. They're just like,
Huh.
you know, there's cops out there that just liked it. And some of them were even doing it, you know, like seeing even after getting skied. Look, if you weren't out here and had a badge, would you be out here doing it with us? And they're like, looks like fun. Yeah, we probably would. So,
Damn. Huh.
just to answer that question, you said something about that.
Well, that's cool. Yeah. Anyway, well, that was amazing, man. Thank you.
Billboards, you had that experience.
I got well, down in Texas it's even more intense because if you get like a second degree felony, then you can only bargain down to a third degree felony. So you have to do a year in prison, and they get you for 3 felonies, you have to go to prison for life. So they're serious. Yeah, like just a stupid aside story. My old roommate, her brother got shot, and she went down there to like sort it out. And the cop said, "Well, they shot him, right? Because the guy came to his front door, and then he kind of went out back in the yard and he shot him. It was like over a girl or whatever." And then the cop is like, "Well, he shot your brother," and it's like, "Yes." Did he shoot the car? And she goes, "No, he didn't shoot the car. He shot my brother." And says, "No, but stay with me here. If he would have shot the car, we could have fucking nailed the motherfucker. But nobody gives a shit that he shot your brother." So things are really weird down in Texas. Oh, I'll tell one more story. Like a guy, wasn't making the payments on his truck, so they came to tow his truck. Which, by the way, if you're not making the payments, ain't your fucking truck, right? It's they're repossessing it. So the guy went out and blew his head off with a shotgun. The guy, towing the truck, and they let him off because the motherfucker touched his truck. And that's like, you can't touch somebody's truck down there. That's why they were saying if he would have shot the truck, we think it could really nail a motherfucker.
Yes.
Right now he's going to probably get 7 years for killing your brother, but, yeah. Anyway, Texas.
7 years. What's 7 years out there?
Yes, but I would have done more for doing billboards than he would have, doing billboards was more of a crime to them than raping or smashing somebody's head open with a baseball bat. Property crimes are real serious down there. They're really serious about their property. Yeah.
That's like the art.
Well, and also because, like how I actually got out of it, and I didn't have to do time, is I called the billboard company, and I kept calling, and finally I got somebody on the other side, and I said, "Look, I'm a graduate student down in, my life's gonna be very different if I go to prison, and I am going to prison. I can't get out of this because you caught me dead to rights, and." I don't hate billboards, man. I fucking love billboards. And he was like, "Yeah, I saw the pictures, and it's like, fuck, what the fuck are you doing that shit on billboards? You should be doing that shit on canvas." But I made friends with him, and he finally, at the very last day before the trial, he dropped the charges. But because they became a human, but otherwise, they had me, But yeah, they got me because when I first talked to the guy, he goes, "This ain't your fucking first time at the rodeo. You've done over $1 million of damage to our billboards," because we're talking about, not just the billboard. We're talking about somebody rented that billboard for $40,000, and you fucking took it away from it. Yeah, and even I met the guy in San Francisco that owned yeah. No, I met one of the guys from the billboard company in San Francisco, and he was look, if you quit doing them, I'll fucking give you free billboards. It's like we don't know what the fuck to do with you. But yeah, we bring our clients out to see their billboards, and it's your shit. It's like, this ain't fun for us. And the reason we don't arrest you is because we think you'll be some Robin Hood hero, because 80% of their billboards are illegal. They're in the wrong places. There's just a lot of shit that they didn't want to open the can of worms, and they thought maybe I'd be some folk hero. But they didn't want to arrest me. And I'm like, I'm not going to. It said, well, if you give me free billboards, you're going to control what I say, because the reason I take out billboards is because I got something I want to say that you can't say. They're like, no, we're going to control what you say. And I said, well, we still have a standoff, you know. But yeah, Texas is fucked up. Don't do shit in Texas. Yeah, don't mess with Texas. Yeah. They're. That's why I was so happy to move to the East Coast. Like first time we got popped for doing billboards, it's like a $25 fine, and maybe we'll give you a free billboard and yeah, but they weren't that fucking crazy about it. You know what I mean? It's just a fucking poster, and you just paste it with another poster. I don't know what you're fucking worried about. You know. I don't know. Anyway, but Texas, don't fuck with Texas. That's all I'm saying. Yeah. Yeah. Stay the fuck out of Texas, man. Yeah. Maybe you can go to Austin, but the rest of Texas, yeah. Stay clear. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, well, cool, man. All right. Well, are we good? Yeah. Thanks everybody out there. This is like our cable access show. Remember cable access? We used to do that. Yeah. Yeah.
Vern. Hey, Vern. You in there, Vern?
Yeah. Blur the faces out. Remember, you agreed we're going to blur the faces out?
Blur the faces.
Okay, just making sure. We're trusting this guy.
I was going to wear this, bandana. I guess not.
Yeah. Oh, well. Those days are over.
What I look like. They run my real name through it. They just run Duster. They got my real name, my address, and all that shit.
Yeah. You slipped and said your real name like at one point during the show. Yeah.
I mean,
see, said it
Star Wars when Scene was going Nicky. I didn't do that to your piece.
Yeah.
Like you just told on me, stupid. It was like, I was to turn around. I go Richie, Mirando.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, cool, man. But yeah, you knew everybody, I suppose, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Risk is a lot of fun.
Risk was like one of the first riders. I knew him when he was.
He's totally chill though. Like he like I see all the shit like and all the fighting, and he just like shuts the fuck up, and you know, and then they forget about it. But he doesn't seem to get in all the entanglements or anything. Yeah.
No,
he's like a Buddhist guy or something. I don't know. But some of the other guys like to fight, you know, and like the gossip or whatever. I don't know.
MSK kids.
Yeah, I remember like we were in the Comic-Con across from Cope 2, and so he was like drawing on shit.
I don't need this.
Right? No, we're done. No, I was just saying that
Water. Where's my water?
He ended up punching out a 10-year-old because the 10-year-old was just fucking with him. He was going, "You're a narc, you're a narc." I don't know what the fuck he was saying, but he was taunting him, and he just jumped over his thing and whacked that kid, man.
In Utah, they had like the phone over, and the cops were tagging the phone and shit.
And awesome also, but yeah. Any competition, that's right. Everyone will like fuck with him. He's threatening me just because I don't want to paint with him.
So what? Dude, you threatening me? What am I, 5 years old and shit? And your son that you have to then tell me or kick my ass because I won't paint with you? Anyway, I'm working in front of the house all day long. You know where I live because you told the cops. So just come on down here and get to kicking my goddamn ass already. I ain't got ass whooping in years. So he never came back. It was an hour later. All right, keep that energy up.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
It's a fun world, man.
It's like, cool. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Urban jungle, visual noise. A can of spray paint, give yourself a voice. Spread the love on the toys. There are 500 train cars, 500 cops to avoid.
Well, no.
Just to destroy. Tunnels with the boys, a criminal mind to fill the void. Oh hell yes, just to destroy and go. Out of money, unemployed, it's called freedom, let's all rejoice. Down in the tunnels, dust that destroys. Yeah, just to destroy.